Hi, my name is Juan from Eating with Carmen Food Tours, and I'm addicted to coffee.
That's right, foodies. I absolutely love coffee. And if you're anything like me, you know that nothing compares to that feeling when you take that first sip of your morning cup of coffee, or when you catch a whiff of its delicious and comforting smell from a place nearby. Coffee has a great cultural impact on the lives of us Mexicans, which is reflected in our literature, music, and arts. Coffee production in Mexico and the world has been in greater demand over the years, since coffee consumption has become increasingly popular among young people and adults. Not only because of its energizing effects, unique flavor, and aromas, but also due to a long list of potential health benefits, including its ability to promote weight management, enhance athletic performance, and prevent chronic diseases. A good cup of coffee comes with a big cup full of history. In order to appreciate more each sip, I have put together some of the most important curiosities about coffee, and not just coffee, but Mexican coffee. The coffee plant is native to the province of Kaffa in northern Ethiopia, formerly called Abyssinia. One legend says that the goat herder Kaldi first discovered the potential of these beloved beans when he noticed that his goats, after eating certain berries, became so energetic that they did not want to sleep at night. Kaldi reported his findings to the abbot of the local monastery, who made a concoction with the berries and found that it kept him alert through the long hours of evening prayer. The abbot shared his discovery with the other monks at the monastery, and knowledge of the energizing berries began to spread. Another ancient theory says that the ancestors of the Oromo, also from Ethiopia, have been among the first to recognize coffee's energizing effect by mixing the ground grains with fat and forming balls to use as ration in expeditions. I don't know about you, but that sounds yummy to me. The use of coffee is spread throughout the world, beginning in the great Middle Eastern cities of Cairo and Mecca. Due to the potent stimulant effects of coffee, its introduction in the Arab world provoked great debates. For a long time, prohibition was thought, as with wine and hashish, considering them as threats to political and social stability. After some 200 years of Arabian exclusivity in the cultivation and trade of coffee, the Dutch were the first Europeans to obtain fertile seeds, take them to their country, and cultivate the plant in greenhouses. But the climatic conditions in the Netherlands were not the most ideal for the cultivation of coffee, so they transferred these seeds to other parts of the planet, passing through Asia and parts of America, which are currently the largest producers of coffee in the world. Between the 17th and 18th centuries, coffee began to be cultivated in India and on the island of Java, in present-day Indonesia. Coffee trees were also brought to the Dutch colony of Suriname and to Brazil. The Dutch were the first to obtain seeds to cultivate coffee, but it was the Venetian merchants who were the first to introduce the beverage in Europe from Turkey in 1615. Only 40 years later, the first coffee shop opened in London, and within a few years, in 1689, the first coffee establishment appeared on the other side of the Atlantic, in the city of Boston. In the United States of America, after the Boston Tea Party of 1773, drinking coffee instead of tea was considered patriotic. Coffee was introduced to Mexican soil through the port of Veracruz. There are different versions that say it was brought in the 1740s by French traders. Another theory says that the first coffee plants were brought from Cuba by a Spanish count with the purpose of growing them in the Hacienda de Guadalupe, located in the town of Amatlán de los Reyes in Córdoba, Veracruz. At the time, the cultivation and consumption of coffee were not very successful, and cultivation for commercial purposes developed decades later. However, the first coffee plantation began to expand from Veracruz to other regions, mainly Chiapas, Puebla, and Oaxaca. In the beginning, coffee was cultivated on farms that belonged to European families with mainly indigenous Mexican workers. Only after the Mexican Revolution did small farmers begin to invest in coffee cultivation in a serious way. Mexican coffee is one of the world's favorites. occupying the 9th place worldwide, producing 2.4% of the coffee consumed on the entire planet. The production of coffee in Mexico is distinguished by its excellent quality and exceptional flavor. Our country is considered one of the best typographically speaking for the cultivation of Arabica coffee. The tropical regions of the country possess good altitudes and excellent climatic conditions, as well as enriched cultivation soils that make the ideal place for the production of organic coffee of the highest quality. The vast majority of Mexican coffee, particularly organic coffee, is grown by small farmers in the poorest states of the country with the largest indigenous population. Coffee is one of the most lucrative exports, and close to 500,000 small farmers and their families depend on this crop for their economic survival. There are 15 states in charge of coffee production in Mexico, starting with Chiapas, Veracruz, Oaxaca, and Puebla. Mexican coffee is present in several countries around the world. 53.85% of Mexico's coffee's export are destined for the United States of America. Approximately 28,000 tons are sent to the European Union and the rest of the countries such as Canada, Japan, Cuba, and China, among others. All coffee beans grow in the coffee bean belt, an area between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Its location is due to the fact that the coffee plant grows in tropical zones, with temperatures where humid and dry cycles alternate. For this reason, the three major coffee regions are Latin America, Africa and Arabia, and Asia Pacific. Among more than a dozen known species of the coffee plant, only some are of significant value due to their exclusive cultivation. Coffea arabica, or arabica, taking 3/4 of the world's production, is characterized by astringent, sweet, but aromatic bitter tones, and contains from 1.1 to 1.7% of caffeine. More than 120 varieties of Arabica coffee can be found in Mexican territories, although each one stands out for its quality, flavor, and body. Coffea canephora, or Robusta. Robusta coffee beans contain 2 to 4.5% caffeine and are usually used for soluble coffee, maintaining its strong notes. This coffee bean is lower in acidity, which lends to the woody or burnt rubber flavor. On the other hand, the flavor is bitter, earthy, and with characteristic peanut notes. Mexican organic coffee. Its purpose is ecosystem sustainability, closely related to the harmonious management of the land that the indigenous peoples have carried out since ancient times. The coffee trees are fertilized with organic materials prepared through compost, and no chemical inputs are applied. Mexico is the first producer of organic coffee in the world. The coffee states. Café Veracruz is a Mexican designation of origin that regulates and protects Arabica coffee produced only in the state of Veracruz. The coffee produced in the 10 different growing regions within the state, such as Coatepec, Córdoba, and Huatusco, is the result of the particular combination of its deep volcanic soils, the high humidity throughout the year, its cloudy winters, and heights between 800 and 1600 meters above sea level, which together determine the light body, the high acidity, and the intense aroma and the flavor of spices that characterize this Mexican coffee. The Arabica coffee beans from Veracruz, such as Bourbon, Caturra, Garnica, Mundo Novo, and Típica, are recognized by intense chocolate flavors, sweet caramel, red berries, and walnut notes. Just 11 kilometers from Jalapa, you will find the municipality of Coatepec, an ideal place to plant coffee due to its altitude and temperature, and also home to the Coffee Museum, the perfect place to learn about the region's coffee heritage, the origins and preparation of high-quality coffee, and its social and economic importance. Among the gastronomic treasures that Oaxaca has, coffee surely stands out. Oaxacan coffee is produced under shade in 7 of the 8 regions of the entity, located in the mountainous complex of the Sierra Madre del Sur at an altitude between 1,200 and 2,000 meters above sea level. Its climate ranges from subhumid to warm and from semi-warm to humid. In February 2020, Oaxaca obtained the Pluma Coffee designation of origin, covering 30 municipalities, including Pluma Hidalgo. This label endorses the region where the coffee is grown and protects the ancestral and artisan process of its cultivation, which gives it greater value in international markets. The entire process, from cultivation to roasting, is carried out under strict quality standards. Pluma coffee is a unique type of bean endemic to the southern coast and highland regions of Oaxaca. It stands out for its accentuated acidity and light to medium body. Its taste profile is defined by notes of chocolate, nuts, and sweet floral and fruity aromas. Chiapas organic coffee is considered the best in the world thanks to its excellent quality achieved by the type of land where it grows. The area that produces the best coffee in Chiapas is Soconusco, located in the southeast of the state on what is known as the Pacific Slope. The beans are usually harvested at a height that can reach 1,800 meters above sea level, providing constant humidity, which allows the optimal development of what is known as café de altura or altitude coffee, as well as the fertile volcanic soil. Among other important areas with coffee plantations are the Selva Lacandona and the North Central region. Chiapas coffee is produced following an artisanal technique, which is done by hard-working Mexican hands, starting from the bean harvest to the drying and roasting process, giving it its famous final aroma and flavor. Produced under forest shade, therefore it is associated with environmental conservation and ecological balance, allowing the production of alternative crops to coffee. In 2003, Chiapas coffee obtained its denomination of origin thanks to the climatic conditions and its geographical proximity to the equator, the rich volcanic soils, and its particular chocolate and almond flavor, high acidity, intense but exquisite floral and fruity aroma, great taste, and appreciable body. Therefore, it is less bitter and has a hint of sweetness with a caffeine range from 1.1 to 1.7%. You probably want to have a cup of coffee in each one of these 3 coffee states. Besides, they are states full of incredibly vibrant culture, delicious gastronomy, and unique landscapes. So let us know in the comments if you've tried them and which one of them is your favorite. This is Juan from Eating with Carmen Food Tours, and I'll see you on the next cup of coffee.